Good Monday morning. It is time to take the day. We're talking about love and relationships. Let's go. Taking the day, I am taking the day. Okay, so let's start with, is this you? Is this you? And let me make room for it. Is this you? Do you do this? Is this you? Are you hanging on to your past while trying to learn and navigate your future? Let me tell you, you cannot do that. You cannot do that in any area of your life. You cannot do that. Stop straddling the fence. See, I'm getting ahead of myself already because I want to start with a question. And we're talking about love and relationships. You know, while this topic can totally be about so many different ideas, or it can come from a variety of perspectives in your life, the aspect of your life that I want you to think about today is the area of relationship, and a variety of relationships at that. So I want you to think about it from the perspective of your sweet thing, your boo thing, your wife, your husband, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever intimate, loving, romantic, loving relationship you have or don't have. If you're not in a romantic relationship, I want you to think about that old previous relationship or lack thereof of one, that there's not a love interest. It could be a parent to a child relationship. It could also be a sibling relationship. It could be a work relationship. You know, it could be a co-worker, or it could be vertical, or it could be, going down relationship. I want you to think about all the variety of human relationships that you have. And I want you to ask yourself, which relationship are you hanging on to a past experience inappropriately? Take a moment and think about it. Like, seriously, take a moment, think about it. I'll take a, I'm gonna sip a cup of coffee while you get crystal on it. Ain't good today. Seriously, what relationship are you carrying inappropriately into your next phase of life? Here's why you can't do that, why you cannot straddle the fence. Because you spend way too much energy trying to make both pieces work together. Now, those of us that are naturalistas, here's why I love that picture, the meme with the two different kinds of hair, one straight, one long. It's because you're gonna spend a bunch of energy on trying to make both pieces work together, and they can't. You can't make straight hair perform like curly, although we have a lot of tricks. Now, we can do some stuff now. Come on now. Those of us that's natural, we know we could do some things to try to make it come together. But think about how much energy you spend in either trying to make the curly hair look straight or the straight hair look curly. Pick one. Pick a place. Pick a place. What place do you want to be in? Pick the place you want to be in and work to be in that place. Now, I'm not saying, because we are shaped and formed by our experiences. So if you had a bad experience in a previous relationship, I'm not saying that experience that you shouldn't learn from it and grow from it. Life teaches you things. If I don't say anything else on this recordings, I certainly say pay attention. Be aware. Pay attention so that you can grow. I am not saying don't grow from your experience. I am saying don't become bitter. If you on the other side of this video and you in your car and you saying ain't, no, well, what I remember is this is for you. I'm talking about you. Deal with your wounds. Deal with your wounds. That's right. I feel it. I feel it all over me today. Somebody is right now saying, I don't know what I don't want to hear. Deal with your wounds. And they come up. They come up when you least expect it. You know you can think you whole. Anybody ever thought they was whole in an area and then something brush across you? Y'all, it happened to me yesterday. I was in church. And they did. I don't like traditional church. If it's too traditional, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like traditional church. It's just something I don't like. I like things that are not traditional. And I'm just, I'm not like that in a lot of areas. Well, that probably wouldn't be true, but I'm not like that in a lot of areas. But I just don't like traditional church. I love church that operate outside of boxes and boundaries and do things in a different way. Like I go to church on Saturday as opposed to Sunday. So I'm in church yesterday and something happened that was just a little bit too traditional for me. And I was like, and then I had to say, stop, wait a minute. Do you still need healing? Now we're talking about love and relationship, and right then I'm speaking about a relationship with an idea, but it's the same thing happens in relationship. You're in a relationship with your spouse and something that feels a little too close to some past heartache, and now you got your arms folded. You got an attitude. You gruff and rough and ready for the fellas. You're behaving in a manner that's not appropriate for the situation that you're in, for the relationship that you're in. You did that. That was not your spouse. That was not your girlfriend, your boyfriend. You did that. You put that in the relationship because you brought that from your past to the table. So stop acting a fool and go find out what's wrong with you and figure out what the problem is. Go get on your knees, seek the Lord. Seek yourself, close your eyes. Now why am I acting foolish in my relationship? Why am I doing this? Where, oh sweet thing, do you need healing? Come on. Deal with your wounds. They exist. Deal with your hang-ups. Deal with whatever your hang-ups is. Sometimes our hang-ups, oh thank you. Sometimes our hang-ups are ideas that we have in our heads. It's an idea that's founded on nothing. And sometimes it's founded on something. So for example, y'all hear my story. You know I got a story for you. My parents have been married for over 50 years. So my idea of who a husband is and how a husband should behave is not founded on TV, nor books, nor Instagram, nor the internet. My idea of what a husband should do and how a husband should behave is founded on Herman, the original Span. Right? Well, my original. Clearly, he's not the first Span. But that's my idea of who a father is. That's my idea of who a husband is. He is the standard of male to me. And one of the things that my dad always taught me was, Angela, love is action. It is not what you say. It is what you do. And listen, it took me a long time to really understand that thing. Like, you can hear me say it and understand it, but to really evaluate life from that place of wisdom, listen, I gauge everything now by what you do. Oh, you don't love me. You know how I know you don't love me? Because I'm looking at what you do. And I have learned to gauge how I have learned to govern myself according to your actions. If your actions show me that you don't love me, I know right now who you are in my life. If you want to know who you are to me, ask yourself what you do for me. And I'm not saying that love has to always be about doing, because sometimes people think doing is buying you something or an act of service. Are you spending time with me? Do you come over to my house and sit on my couch and just talk? Do I come to your house and sit on your couch and just talk? If that's not what's occurring, you probably want to check how our relationship is, because love is action. And what are our actions? Are we going to dinner? Are we what actions are occurring? If I'm reaching out to spend time with you and you too busy, see, I know exactly where we stand. And there are some people, and let me give this caveat, because we're speaking about all relationships, friend relationships included. There are some people who I don't talk to but once a year. That's all the time we have for each other, is once a year, twice a year. Life is busy, but there is something there. Right? I don't know who that was for, because I got all the way off into that. That was for somebody. Let me know if it was you. Send me a text, send me an email, let me know. But when I first got married, I had an idea of who my husband was supposed to be. And he had an idea based on his mom of what a wife and mother should be and how a family should function. And I brought the same idea to the table. And we spent a lot of years arguing, epic battles around family roles. When I say years, I'm talking like 5-6 years, like long years we spent trying to make each other become. I'm trying to make him be Herman, who my husband feels like I think he walks on water. And I'm like, you trying to make me be your mom, who you think walked on water. A whole lot of bit. Either way, we both had to get to the place of, one, I didn't marry Herman. I married Jonathan. He didn't marry Sylvia. He married Angela. 2, trying to take 2 individuals and fit them into somebody else's marriage, that's not going to work. Trying to fit your marriage into an idea, your relationship into some idea that's in your head that your partner might didn't agree to. All of that is wrong. All of that is wrong. I'm always interested in, especially Christian marriage, because a lot of times in Christian marriage, we live in a modern world and we execute in modern ways. We have modern church, and then we start talking about marriage, it goes back to the 50s. We start teaching these 50s principles. Wait a minute, it's not even the 50s. We go all the way back to biblical principles around what marriage should look like. Yet we've progressed in God. Shouldn't our relationships grow in God? Just a question. Shouldn't how we look at relationships grow? If we can grow in our understanding in God, why can't we grow in our understanding of relationships? I'm just saying, putting it out there. Ask yourself that. Then ask yourself, why are you following if we can grow in God, ask yourself, why are you following an archaic diagram of what your relationship should look like? Seek the Lord. What did the Lord say about how your relationship should function? Check yourself. How do I feel I should function in my relationship? What do I think works for us? God gave me good sense, and he told me to be a good steward over what he blessed me with. What does that look like for my relationship? Am I being a good steward? Am I dealing with my issues? What are you doing? The last thing I'm going to leave you with, because God knows there's so much I want to say. Y'all, there's so much I want to say. Like, I hadn't looked at my notes one time because I'm just literally, I have so much to say on this topic. And I'm shoving about 3 different things into one video. So I'm going to come back later. We're going to dissect down a little bit further. But, I gotta get what has to come out. What I'm going to leave you with is this. And this is an area that I struggle with. Like, This is not something I'm giving you from a place of I've perfected this. I'm offering this to you from a place of, honey, a sister gotta grow. Pray for me. Point your hand towards me. I live on the east side of Atlanta. Point your hands east Atlanta and be like, Lord, touch her. Do that. The last thing that I will leave you with and say that I want you to do is give people the opportunity to grow. If you are in a long-term relationship, there is no telling what has occurred in the relationship because life definitely throws all kinds of curve balls. I don't know how many balls they got in baseball, but you done got all of them and about 3 or 4 more. You got a curve ball, a slow ball, a softball. I mean, you got all kind of balls coming at you, right? Basketball on the baseball field. Like, I'm not even playing that sport. How did I even get that coming over here to me? Not even part of my game. That occurs, right? That sincerely occurs in life and in any relationship. But you have to give people the chance to grow. I am definitely the kind of person that who you show me you are when I meet you, I'm going to believe it. If you show me that you're a jerk when I meet you, jerk forever. If you show me that you're trifling when I meet you, trifling forever. That is who you are to me. I'm going to believe the person that you present yourself to me to be. So in our initial engagements, if I'm just in interactions with you, whatever you teach me about you, that's you. And that's the gospel according to you forever. The problem with that is it doesn't allow people the room to grow. Don't we all grow? We all grow. It's such a limiting idea to a degree. You have to reevaluate. Good idea, except believe who people show you themselves to be. But they are going to reinforce that belief with their behavior. If their behavior no longer supports that idea, why do you continue to believe it to be true about them? Now, this is especially true in long-term relationships where you have years of relationships. I'm talking long-term marriages, long-term partnerships, siblings, friendships. Look at it. I mean, really look at these long-term relationships because often people will have grown and they're no longer that individual or that person, but we're still grading them off of experiences that occurred with them long years ago. And I would dare say to the person that feels like they're being misjudged unfairly, check your behavior. Are you still exhibiting behavior of that negative behavior? Because if you're still trifling, don't get mad when they call you trifling. Fix it. If you aren't trifling or a jerk any longer and your behavior has changed, then it's fair. The right thing to do, the mature thing to do is to go to that person and say, hey, look, I think you're still judging me based on year 1, year 2, year 3, year 10. We've been married for 20 years. We've been siblings for 30, 40, 50 years. You still think I act like a teenager? I did that as a teenager. Come on. I'm no longer that person. I'm no longer selfish. I have grown. Real. That's real talk. We grow. Give me the space to grow. Recognize when I have grown. And even if my growth is not at your level, I might not be all the way at the level that I was 10 years ago. So can I at least come forward 10 years? Evaluate those relationships. That's what I want to leave you with today. If you have misjudged someone, if you need to reevaluate how you see your relationship, how you interact with someone, a friend, your boo, whatever. Adjust. Adjust. Apologize. Make amends so that the relationship can grow. If they still the way they are, tell them lovingly, with loving kindness have I drawn thee. Lovingly tell them. Don't be a jerk and expect them to be cool with you. That's just not the way that it works. Lovingly. Be loving. And there's one more thing I want to say, because I said something earlier and I don't want I don't want people saying she said biblical principles. I said biblical principles in regard to marriage. And what I want to say is biblical, I really mean biblical time period. To the biblical time period. I said principles, and you know, people lose their little marble over there. But like, you're supposed to have your marriage on biblical principles. I'm speaking to the time period. If your marriage should not look like it's AD or BC, before Christ. My marriage should not look like before Christ, because I live in 2019. That's what I was saying. Don't come for me, y'all. I'm going to put a subtitle up. I don't want y'all coming for me, because you know y'all come for me. Just saying, have a good week, everybody. I'll see you next Monday. Take the day. Coming for me. They'll be sending me all kind of stuff talking about, she said our marriage should be based on biblical principles. Time period. Time period. Have a great day.
Cut. In the day I am taking the day. Taking the day I am taking the day. Taking the day.